There we go. There we go. Make sure my audio is working. There we go. Everything should be working. All right, all right. It looks like it's about 4 o'clock. If you guys can hear me and see, okay, just post in the comments here that you're able to hear me just so we can get started. I am so excited to be on today. This is my first time doing this in this capacity, so I'm really super excited. Obviously, COVID has changed the way we've done the world. I'm so used to doing my workshop engagements live, and now we're doing it live. I'm excited. If you guys are on, let me know what part of the world you are joining us in. I want this to be as interactive as possible. As interactive as possible. This is more than just a Facebook Live where I'm just here giving information and sharing insights. I'm here to interact with you and to share my knowledge. So this course today, what we're going to be doing every Tuesday is my Moses. Many of you may know me, some of you do not know me. And my name is Mandolin Moses. I am a speaker, a trainer, a mentor, a coach, doing conferences and speaking and coaching internationally for over 5 years now. And I'm so excited to be able to deliver my message in a bigger way as we have been transitioning to go here in online. So we've got this streaming on so many different platforms. So hello Facebook, hello YouTube, hello Periscope, hello Twitch, hello LinkedIn. We're all over the place. So I'm super, super excited to be on with you today. Again, my name is Mandolin Moses, author of this book, From Fear to Freedom. It's all backwards. And I'm in the process of writing my second book, which will be out by the end of this year. I'm really excited about that. Yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So this course again today is called The Path to Pleasure. My company is called Alter Ego. And with Alter Ego, my aim is to really help people connect with who they are at a really super deep level. My passion is leadership. And as I've been traveling the world, teaching leadership, I realized there's a missing piece to the leadership aspect. Leadership was always meant to be an inward journey. And if we really want to live our full potential is about the full expression of ourselves. But if we're not connected to all areas of ourself, our power center, we cannot live to our full potential. And as I see in the world right now, we are so disconnected from ourselves, and we're so disconnected from our most definitely what we deem as pleasurable. And if we really want to unlock that full potential, that full power, it starts with unleashing that pleasure center, our power center. And so that is what this course over the next several months. We'll see how long that we go. This is how this is where we start. So, if you are watching this, I invite you to invite your friends, share with your friends. Let's start some watch parties. Let's have an amazing party, and let's have a good time. Again, this isn't about me just speaking at you, giving you a bunch of information. This is about you and connecting. So, if you have any questions or comments along the way, please post them in the comments, whatever it is. We're all adults, and I want to have like a really amazing, open, deep, connected dialogue with every single one of you. So make sure to comment and interact in the comment screen here. So a little bit about why you will want to join in on this conversation, why this course is for you, why you want to join in on this. First and foremost, you were born for greatness. You weren't here to live some mundane life and just be an ordinary person. You were really here to do something big in this world. And the only way that we're able to really do that is if we connect with all of ourselves, and every single area of our life is fully integrated. And when we're just focusing on one area of our life at a time, which many people are, just kind of focused on the bottom line and finances, it's really hard to really reach that next level. And so what we want to do is create a life that's fully individuated, where all areas of our life are working together in harmony. And when all areas of our life are working together and we bring them together, it creates this like ball of power, and we're able to catapult ourselves into the world in such a big way. And I know many of us try and do that. We think that, I've always had that thinking, when this happens, then this will happen. But it doesn't work that way. It really, honestly, truly doesn't work that way. So we can't do that anymore, because what happens is our lives become out of balance. And then as we start to advance further into our lives, we start to create momentum. And then all of a sudden, the shoe drops. Life is all about balance. We see that all over the world, and our individual lives on a micro level are the exact same way on a macro level. So we really want to get everything working together. Again, another thing, you're not here to play small. You're not in this world to play small. You're here to be big. You're here to be big. And many people are here, unfortunately, to play small. We're not here to just wake up in the morning, make money, worry about our next meal, worry about, whatever it is. We're here to be fully integrated. And when we're completely integrated, every single area of our life is working together. And then again, it's pushing us forward. You want to experience life at a much deeper level. For me, it's all about influence and becoming the most powerful version of myself that I can possibly be. I'm always looking in the mirror, and I'm always like, not like a physical mirror, but looking in the mirror of life and contemplating and see how I can go deeper and deeper into myself and who I am, so I can dive deeper into my power. And because of that, my life just seems to up level and grow and upgrade every single day. It's just so amazing how quickly things start to come into my life. And so I know you want to thrive and feel alive while making a huge influence in the world, making changes in the world. So people are listening to you as well, where you are really experiencing deeply connected relationships, where you have more energy, where you're thriving, where your health your health is thriving, where you're experiencing passionate and intimate connected relationships. You're able to use your sexuality as your power. We're going to dive really deep into that. That is so important. And you're able to experience financial security without sacrifice, because I know I've done that several times in my life, where I focus on my business and my finances, and then I realize that my family and my health and my energy, things like that, are way off balance. So we don't want to experience that anymore. We really want to dive super deep into everything that life has to offer, where we're living massively abundantly. And to me, that just means stepping into who we are as creators, as influencers, and just diving really deep. So if that sounds good to you, please post in the comment, hell yes, and let's get this going. I'll post it here. Let's do this. Hell yes. And we can't do that if you're just like sitting here, if you're just sitting here listening to me, right? You've got to participate. Participating is integrating. And if you're not participating, it's really hard for what we're learning today to get into the cells of our body, right? If you're not like allowing yourself to really let this soak into the cells of your body, if you're not feeling what I'm sharing at a very visceral level, then it's integrating, right? It just becomes information. And we don't want to sit here on this call and it just be a place of we don't want it to just be a place where you're gathering information and listening. I want you to walk away with awareness, with breakthroughs, knowing that once you leave here, something in your life is going to change. But if you're just sitting here, just listening to the words coming out of my mouth, I can guarantee you that's not going to happen. So what we want to do is I really would love for your participation. Again, if this information is something that you're feeling deeply, definitely share it with your friends. Let's create a watch party. Let's have fun. And let's thrive. What does it mean to thrive and prosper? Prosper means living a life that's integrated. All areas of our life are integrated without waiting for the next shoe to drop, right? Everything is integrated, working in harmony. So everything's pushing forward in your favor. That's really the idea and the plan for what we want to occur in this live stream. A little about me. Again, like I said, I've been traveling and speaking for a little over 5 years. I've been able to speak all over the world, which has been really amazing. Again, I've been able to write a book. I'm on the process of writing a second book. We're also in the middle of writing a screenplay right now. It's really super exciting. All the things that we have going on behind the scenes. But it always wasn't like that for me. I lived a life of a lot of abuse, a lot of adversity, a lot of pain, and it started off that way. And I always thought that that's really what I was that was the path that I was supposed to live. I thought I was designed to live a life that where I felt forsaken, that I didn't deserve to be abundant, like I was just here to survive. And that's how I've lived my life. My entire life was a life of just surviving. And then there just came a point where I realized that that wasn't true for me anymore. And I hit my rock bottom. I really hit my rock bottom, and I didn't want to be on this planet anymore. I didn't want to live on this planet anymore. I didn't feel like I really belonged here. And because of that, if any of you have felt that way, just like you just don't belong on this planet, you don't feel like you're accepted, you feel like maybe your life is a little bit different, people don't quite understand you. that life has been just, maybe it hasn't, maybe it wasn't as extreme as mine, where it comes from a life of abuse, but you just feel like life, like you just maybe don't quite fit in, right? That you're born for something bigger, that maybe you think a little bit differently than the status quo. Maybe you think a little bit differently than your family. Maybe you know that you're just a little bit bigger than whatever it is that you were born into. If you feel like maybe that was you, type that in, that was me, that was me. But you know that you're born for something bigger. And for me, I knew that I was a mother at a very young age. Um, I knew I was a mother at a very young age in life. And because of that, I was told that really the world was always going to be against me and I was never going to really amount to anything. And that is what the world showed me. But for me, I've always been about resiliency and my power, and I always got up. And there came a point where I was like, no, that's really not going to be me. I am going to live my full potential. And for a lot of my life, it was like swimming uphill. But then I remember, then I don't remember where this vision came from, but I remember seeing, um, maybe it was in a documentary about the salmon, right? We've been taught in this world, especially if we've been down this path of personal growth or spiritual growth. It's like, oh, always being in the flow, right? Always being the flow of energy. And the more that you're in the flow, the more things come to you. And then I remember watching this documentary about the salmon, and the salmon, how they've adapted and became stronger, actually swimming up the flow of the river. And then all of these challenges come in at them from left and right, and how their bodies have adapted to swimming up. They become bigger and they become more powerful, no matter the bears and the dams and everything. And they've learned these new skills to be able to overcome these challenges and adversities. And then that's how they're able to grow into their power, and then they're able to um, lay their eggs and spread throughout the waters. It's not always about being in the flow. Sometimes life throws us these curveballs. So we have to learn to adapt. We have to learn to be resilient. But even in the pain and the struggle of things, we have to also be at a place where we're also enjoying life and adapting to these lessons. And the more we're able to do that, the stronger we become. And so that's really what this path to pleasure is. I'm really super excited to be here with you today. And today we're going to be diving into these 3 steps to deep pleasure, and what that means for you in your life, uh, what that means for you in your future, and how you can catapult that so there's no more glass ceilings. Like, I don't know about you, but I don't know how many times in my life I feel like I've grown, and then I hit this glass ceiling, and then I'm stuck. And then I spend years of my life going off the path just to try and figure out how to get back on the path. If you are freaking over hitting that glass ceiling, if you're over all of that, and you're ready to, no matter what is going on in your life, no matter the adversity, no matter the challenge, no matter anything, and you're ready to just be able to experience deep pleasure, deep passion, you want to thrive and feel alive no matter what, just raise your hand and say, that's me, right? We don't want to have to be in these places anymore where it's like, oh my God, finally my life is just going so well. And then all of a sudden it's like, boom, the shoe drops and it's done. Like the shoe drops and then we're like off path again. We don't have to. We can feel pleasure in every adversity in our life. So if you're ready to really be connected truly to yourself and being able to use those times of adversity to catapult you forward, that's what we're going to be diving in right now. So I'm super excited to be here with you today. So let's dive in there. Let's dive in right now and let's do this. So right now we're going to be going into the path to pleasure, the 3 steps to deep pleasure, right? So first we're going to start talking about pleasure, right? I don't know about you, but for me, experiencing pleasure in my life was something I have struggled with immensely. I didn't even know like really what pleasure was all about, right? But pleasure transmutes to power. There's a process that we all must go through. You can't skip any steps. There's no skipping steps. But there's a process that you must go through in order to experience your full potential and your power. And realizing your power centers, um, realizing your power centers, and is being able to unlock that unlocks your full potential. So pleasure transmutes to power. So we're going to work these three steps backwards, right? And so we're going to be working these three steps backwards. Pleasure transmutes to power. So what I'm going to do is I want you all to, what do you think of when you hear the word pleasure? What do you think of when you hear the word pleasure? Write that in the comments. What do you think of when you hear the word pleasure? We've got sex. What else do we have? What comes up for you when you hear the word pleasure? It's important to understand this because if we don't know, if we don't know what pleasure means to us, how are we able to experience it, right? I remember like my whole life, everybody like it's always like, why aren't you smiling? Why aren't you smiling? I'm like, well, I don't know. You know, and so it's like I was always that person that was labeled like constant bitch face, right? Because I was just like I was always like not smiling. So it's like when we're not when we're not smiling, when we're not connected to our pleasure every single moment of the day, we're not really exuding the type of aura and the energy that we could be in a very, very big way, right? So, what is it that you think of when you think of pleasure? Beyond sex, I really want you to connect to that. I was in Bali and it was like I was shopping in one of like the street markets and I'm just like looking at the stuff and I'm just loving like all the decorations and stuff in Bali, and the woman in the shop was like, oh my gosh, I just absolutely love your smile. Your smile lights up my shop, my store. And I loved that compliment because before you know, there was a time in my moment in my life where I didn't walk around just having a smile on my face just because, there was a time in my life like that was not a thing. But now it's so funny. I always get compliments on my smile. I always get compliments on my smile, and it's like one of my favorite things to hear is the compliments on my smile. Right? All right. So let's really dive into really the key points of pleasure, right? Because pleasure can look like a lot of different things. But first, we're going to talk about the one element of pleasure, which is desire, right? We all have these desires within us that we either sometimes act out in life or we don't, and there's many reasons why we may act out these desires, and there's sometimes that we won't. But understanding what these desires are really important to connect with pleasure. Again, when we think of pleasure, I want you to think about man or woman. I know a lot of people, put down sex as that was that is what you think of when you think of pleasure, and rightfully so, because man or woman, your power center comes from your groin, the groin or the womb area. That's really where the power center comes alive. But there's three things that we must open up before the power actually opens up. And the key to that, the highest key to that is pleasure. However, in our society, many things that we desire are deemed bad or wrong. And so we suppress it because we think it's dark. We suppress it so it thinks we're dark. We think it's bad. So that's why we have all these things in the world that we see on a macro level, like sex trafficking and prostitution and promiscuity and things like that, over shopping, overindulgence, what people would, desire is gluttony, overweight, food, right? Food. Those are things that I didn't see anybody write on there that people deem pleasurable, right? Sugar. Doesn't need to be just sugar. For me, what I find very pleasurable is going to nice restaurants. I love going to nice restaurants. It's like my favorite thing. Like that to me is enjoying getting dressed up, putting on a nice pair of heels, doing my makeup and my hair. And enjoying a really nice meal is very pleasurable to me. I love that, right? Dropping like $300 to $400 on a meal of experience is very pleasurable to me. But some people, think that that's bad. Like, oh my gosh, why would you spend that much money on a meal? But it makes you feel really good, right? But when we think some things are bad, it ends up turning into this beast that blows up in our life. So one of the pathways to pleasure is understanding what exactly we desire. It's really important to understand that we have a long list of things that we find are pleasurable. And whether or not that we think that they're good or bad, it's what you desire. There is no good or bad. There is no good or bad. Whatever it is that you desire, that's your thing. And our society and our friends and our family, they'll tell us that what we want is bad. So then we deny ourselves of it. For instance, I spent a lot of my life not buying myself things, not purchasing things for myself, because it wasn't okay for me to buy things for myself. I had to save those purchases for my children. And I would feel so guilty if I bought anything for myself. So most of the time, if I would buy something for myself, I would go instantly and return it because I felt so bad, especially if it's something nice. Right? Especially if it was something nice. Like I didn't deserve to have nice things. So I'd feel incredibly guilty having nice things. So I would always buy myself things that are cheap. But I didn't feel good wearing or having things in my home that were cheap. Right? But that's how I was raised. Like it's not okay because for me, I've always been deemed bougie, right? So having nice things like, oh, Mandy's the bougie one. Like she's not supposed, whatever. That was always my thing. So I would deny myself of things that I wanted, and I would choose things that were cheap. Even if I could afford the other things, I would choose the thing that was cheap because it was deemed bad to have the other things. What do you desire? What do you desire? And once you can connect to what it is that you desire, then you can start to play with the idea of what your life would look like, what it would feel like to be able to have those things. Whether or not it's good or bad, it doesn't matter. There is no good or bad. And I would encourage you to start looking into those things that you might deem, that have been told you that you've been restricted from having, because there's a lot of juice and information and things in there. So it's like if we can really connect to that, then we can start to see what's pleasurable so we can start to experience more pleasure in our lives rather than going into the next one, right? Our sexuality. That's what most people think pleasure is sexuality. But then when it comes to sexuality, look at our world today. As soon as we have like a little inkling of feeling of sexuality, what do? Boom, we give it away. We think that we need to have a relationship. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling lonely. I have this desire in my body, but I don't have a partner. I've been celibate for a long time. Oh my God, you don't have to experience that kind of pleasure only in a relationship. Actually, which I'll be getting into next, you can actually experience like really deep pleasure not being in a relationship, not having to use different, tools to release it from your body, being able to use your sexuality and being able to transmute it through your entire body, being able to like deeply feel it viscerally and use it to actually connect to higher levels of your being so you can tap into the world of creation and inspiration and imagination. It's so beautiful, right? But in our society, our sexuality, we're told to just give it away, right? Wear these sexy clothes and go out and give it away. I'm gonna go. I need to get out tonight. So let's go. Let's just go out, get some cleavage going. As a woman, obviously, go out, get some short skirt going. Go out. Let's go give it away. Let's get on our online. Let's just find a way to just like give it away. Society tells us as soon as we start to feel that sexuality in our body, that we're feeling horny, that we're feeling this or whatever, and instantly we go give it away, whether that be to another person, whether that be to masturbation, whether that be to whatever, we go and give it away instantly. And then like, oh, within what? In just like a few minutes, a few moments, it's over, rather than being able to learn how to use our sexuality in such a way that it becomes our absolute superpower. That is really the key. Using that superpower to make you magnetic, to make your energy shine so bright. Like, you always know when, you're in a room, like imagine yourself being in a party and someone walks in the room and like instantly, like heads turn. This person walks into the room and they're the most powerful person in the world, in the room. You know it instantly. They didn't introduce themselves. They didn't do anything. They literally just walked in the room and you feel this energy. That's someone who's really learned how to master their sexuality as power. And they're not just automatically just giving away. Because if they were just giving it away, you wouldn't have been able to sense that. As a woman, I know this, it's like men who you wouldn't even normally would look at as being like attractive, but you know that they have this like power, and that power, that energy, like automatically makes them like super attractive, and you're just like lured into that, and you're like, why am I feeling this? Why am I feeling this in my body towards this person that I don't even like look at in a sexual way, but for some reason they're making you feel that way, right? Because they've mastered that in themselves, so it's bringing it out in you. But then you've learned how to use your sexuality as your power. So it's really important to learn how to use your sexuality in such a way that you're feeling it in every area of your body, every cell of your being, so you can use that to transmute into your power. And then you're experiencing pleasure in everything that you do, because that sexual energy is in every cell of your body. So food is sexual, water is sexual, air and breath are sexual. Everything is everything is a sexual feeling. And we're not giving it away, we're truly experiencing it, which is what is called sexual transmutation. It's the key to becoming the most powerful creator in the world. It is the absolute key. And let me tell you, when you have learned how to tap into sexual transmutation, oh my gosh, you're not going to want to give it away. Because once you've like learned to transmute it up your power centers, man, you're going to be really, really picky in who you give that power away to, because it's literally the most amazing feeling you've ever experienced in your entire life. I mean, it is just so powerful. But then when you are able to experience that, and then you do have a partner that's tapped in at that level, and then you bring that together, oh my gosh, it is so powerful, because you're like literally, life is tantric. If any of you are familiar with tantra, when you're finally able to connect those energies with the right partner, then it becomes this tantric energy, and you're like living in this realm. It's like living in like a sci-fi realm, right? When you're able to like really experience it. But that is so rare to be able to connect with that. But the reason why it's so important to be able to connect with that to yourself personally and understand what makes things pleasurable for you and what it is that you desire, then you can start to connect to that energy yourself. And then when you do connect with somebody, then you're able to like really, really amplify it. But that's such a rare, it's such a rare experience. But if you can connect to that yourself, then what is naturally going to happen? You're going to end up connecting with someone who's at that same level. And that's when you really experience like that true, that true pleasure. And I'm telling you, like that feeling is so magical, and you're wondering why, like every day you're just like, oh my God, this is coming to me, this is coming to me, this is coming to me. And you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm able to do this, I'm able to create this, I'm able to do this. It's like the most amazing experience of your life. Sexual transmutation is like, I don't even know how to describe the words, but it's like it's just tantric. It's beyond orgasmic and everything. When you breathe, your breath becomes orgasmic. When you smell something, it becomes orgasmic. When you drink water, it becomes orgasmic. Life is orgasmic, and people can feel it. And that's how you start to magnetize yourself into your power, into your influence, in your health, your energy, and your body. Everything becomes energized when you're able to tap into that sexuality on a very, very deep, visceral level, right? Which brings us to the next piece here, foreplay, right? When we're constantly just like giving away our sexuality, giving away who we are, our essence, like when I said, our sexuality is the most sensual, deepest, and it's the most powerful energy that we hold in our body. But when we just like kind of start to feel that feeling down in our groin, and we're just giving it away constantly to people, I want you to think about this for a minute too. As we're on the topic of sexuality, I want you to think about this for a minute. And I was in a women's circle. I was in a women's circle a while back, and we were talking about this. We were talking about this topic of sexuality, and how she was teaching these young girls, like, how like in our society we just constantly are just like giving our bodies away, giving our energy away. And she was like, I want you to um, think about who you're giving this away to. If you wouldn't want to have a child with this person, should you really be sleeping with this person? And the truth is, on an energetic level, when we are having when we're having an intimate relationship with somebody, whether that be in a long-term relationship, or whether that be in like let's just say like a one-night stand, that energy from that one encounter stays in your body for 7 days. So the longer the relationship, the more that person's energy is around you. That's why, like, when you experience a breakup, it takes a while to get that person out of your field. It takes a while to get that person out of your mind. And you're like, why can't I just get over that? Well, it's because not only are you in an intimate relationship with this person, but at nighttime, when your energies are completely opened and enmeshed, it's completely enmeshed. And so whatever it is that person is going through, it's enmeshed in yours. And so it's just kind of gross, like when you're in like a relationship, a long-term relationship, and then you instantly get into another relationship, and you've got all this like energy. It's like throwing like, okay, I've got like all these leftovers in the refrigerator, and you're like mixing it together. It's like, ugh, gross. You don't even know what the hell it is that you're feeling. And of course, why is this whole world just walking around? Oh, I'm a zombie. I have no idea where it is that I'm going in life. It's because we're constantly mixing our energies with people. It's like freaking disgusting. Like, who wants to eat a casserole with everything under the kitchen sink, even if it's moldy, if it's whatever? It's just all, it's like tell me, if I invited you for dinner and I used everything that was in my refrigerator and put every ingredient that was in my refrigerator in my pantry and mixed it all together and served you a meal, would you want to eat it? Who would eat that meal? Any takers? Any takers on that? I'm going to make you dinner and I'm going to mix everything in my pantry and everything in my fridge, not even knowing what's in there. Would you eat that meal? No, you wouldn't want to eat that meal. It's gross, right? But that's what it's like when we're constantly giving away our sexuality. That is what it looks like when we're constantly giving away our sexuality. And so, like, for me, I'll be honest, I was in a relationship for almost 5 years. And so I told myself after getting out, I was like, I don't want that energy anymore, detoxing that completely because I don't want that mixed in with a new partner. So right now it's like I'm just focused on myself and having this massive love affair with myself and getting into my own body, my own sexuality, feeling myself. Even if I'm just doing this live stream, I'm going to do my hair, I'm going to do my makeup, I'm going to feel good. I'm feeling myself. And I've never felt better in my entire freaking life. It's been like a long time since I felt like this freaking good. I was like, oh my gosh, this is what my energy feels like. My energy feels freaking amazing. I like love it. It's like I feel free. I was like, I like even feel like I'm like, I just want to take up all this space. And the idea of having like this love affair with myself and not sharing it with anybody because this feels so good is good because I know the perfect ingredients of the meal that I want to eat. So every day I'm like, oh, I'm going to experience this pleasure every single day. And it shows, like, I can see myself on this live stream and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I'm feeling myself right now because I know what my energy feels like. We don't want to give that away. We absolutely do not want to just share those things. And so we want to understand what those little things are, creating a list of those little, like, oh my gosh, like we've all been there, right? When let's just relate this analogy. Let's just relate this energy to sex for a minute. When you're just constantly in the act of sex, but then it's like it's nothing but like just into it. No foreplay, no little things. It's just, all right, that was a great, 5 minutes and it's over and done with. It's like, okay, well, that was a big letdown, right? You find the pleasure in the build up, the journey of life. And when we're able to do that in every area of our life, being able to take a sip of water and being able to just enjoy the water, being able to be like, what color lipstick do I want to wear? Ooh, I think I'm feeling a little, today's about power, right? So it's like, I'm gonna put some red on today because that's gonna make me feel pleasurable. And I love that. But then when I put my lipstick on today, I was like, oh, I like the red, but you know what? I want a little bit of glitter. Putting a little glitter on there is like, oh yeah, just feeling the pleasure in just the little things because the little things lead up to the big things, right? It's like going on a date, right? And let's say you're going on a date with somebody with like I'm going to relate this to some, like, you're going on a date with somebody that you really love and you're getting all ready, right? And then your partner, as a woman, they look at you and you're like, oh my God, you look so beautiful. And then they say, do we really have to go out tonight? And you're like, yeah, I'm not going to give this up to you too easy. You're buying me a freaking $300 meal. And I'm going to enjoy the car ride. I'm going to enjoy you complimenting me on how great I smell. I'm going to enjoy you, enjoy you squirming while everybody's eyes are on me, and you know you're the luckiest man in the world to have me by your side. I'm going to make you sit in that for several hours and make you squirm. So when it finally gets to that point, it's freaking amazing, right? But you can apply that into every single area of your life, right? Because imagine, like, to fit into that nice fitted dress, what did we have to do to make ourselves look good in that dress? What did we have to do our hair? It's like, oh my god, this isn't working, this isn't working, oh my god, all this powder got all, like, there's all these challenges that happen that lead up to those moments, right, that are the big moments. But then all of a sudden we've got these, like, for me, I've got my business alter ego, i've got um I've got all these amazing creations in my life, but I had to find pleasure in the journey and the process. I had to find pleasure in those moments in order to be able to enjoy being here and being able to share my gift. I love speaking. This is a little different capacity. I love being on stage. Like, being on stage and speaking is my favorite thing in the world to do. But now, I don't have that right now. So now I'm just here in front of you, but I still get to move around and be big and share my voice with you. And I find so much pleasure in that too, being able to change, because this is part of the journey. But you don't know what it took for me to get here. But I had to enjoy the process just as much as I enjoy being here to teach. Because if I didn't enjoy that process as much as I love being here teaching with you, I couldn't be here. I couldn't share myself with you. I wouldn't be able to have this deep conversation on a freaking Facebook Live talking about sexuality and orgasms and all that on freaking live Facebook television. I'd be like, oh my God, this is scary. People are going to judge me. Oh my God, who's going to see it? No. I had to be comfortable with that. Comfortable enough, like, who gives a shit who even sees it, to be able to share that with you. That process was brutal for me to even get to the place where I could like this comfortably, like this with you, being an adult. The little things lead to the big things. We've got to find pleasure in every single step of the way, even in the pain, even in the challenges, even in the adversity. We've got to find pleasure in the little things. So let's, like, right here, I want to let's make a declaration. Hell yeah to the little things, right? Let's write that in the comment. Hell yeah in the little things. Because there's no more when and then, right? There's no more when this happens, then this happens. The big things will never happen unless we enjoy the little things. The big things will never happen unless we enjoy the little things. I'm going to make another analogy here, right? It's because it's easy. It's easy for us to, when we're thinking about pleasure, because most people obviously think of sex when they think of pleasure. Again, it's not just about that. Like, I made a post yesterday, when I was in the pool with my 9-month-old nephew, and he's just got his head laid down on the thing, and he's humming a song. And the music that he was singing through humming that song was so joyful for me. I was like, oh my God, it was so beautiful, right? But when it comes to pleasure, most of us think of sex. So I'm going to use another sex analogy. I can only, of course, I'm a woman, so I can only speak from a woman's perspective on this. Men, of course, you could share in the comments if you feel comfortable your experience, but I know that you've experienced sex with a woman where they just kind of lay there. And it's like, oh, it kind of just feels like you're just like laying there. Well, we are just laying there because our mind is like in a million different places, and we're so disconnected from the activity because throughout the day, throughout our lives, we're not enjoying the little things. So then when it finally comes to the place where we're able to feel connected, we're not feeling connected. And it's just kind of going in the act of things. And so it's like you're just kind of sitting there and it's like, all right, I'm trying to get involved and connected here, but my mind is all over the place. When our mind and our body and our spirit are not integrated, that's what happens. Even when pleasure does come our way, we can't even fucking enjoy it. We can't even enjoy it, even if it's something that we think we want, because our mind is gone. If our mind and our body and our spirit are not connected, even the things that we think that we want, we're not ever going to be able to have. This is why it is so difficult in our lives to experience pleasure. Because in our world, we're taught that this thing is just going to give us pleasure. If we just get this thing, we're going to experience pleasure. If I just get that new car, I'm going to experience pleasure. If I just have this right relationship, this perfect relationship, I'm going to experience pleasure. If I just have this nice house, I'm going to experience pleasure. If I just had more friends, I would just experience pleasure. If I just had this great meal, I can experience pleasure. And then what happens? We get it. Some things last a little while. Some things last a little longer than others. But then what happens? Boom, shoe drops and we're back to square one. Something happens, right? We got this great house, so excited, I created it a home, and then all of a sudden it's taken away from you. I got this perfect relationship. Oh my God, I'm so happy. We're so in love. And then all of a sudden something happens, relationship's over. I just got this great windfall of money. Oh my gosh, because money is going to make me happy. Boom, housing repairs, car repairs, college, blah, 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 whatever. Something happens, it's gone. And then our pleasure is just short lived. Right? We don't want that. Ooh, you got somebody from Morocco, woohoo, on the other side of the world. Australia is so amazing. If this is really resonating with you, like put that in the chat box. We've all been there. Our life just seems to be going so well. Everything is like going so good. And then all of a sudden, overnight, it's like, boom, the shoe drops. And it's like, why does that happen? The key is to feel pleasure without having the shoe drop on us. We don't want the shoe to be dropping on us. We want to live a life that's integrated. And there's a process to that. And the process, I'm going to go back to this banner. The process really starts here with our desire. It's integrating the desire. And I'm telling you, when it comes to the desire aspect of things, the desire piece of things, it really is looking at both sides of things. The things that we really truly can share with others without shame, embarrassment, or guilt, or whatever. But really where that desire really comes from is in the things that we have deemed bad. That's really where we're going to unlock that, like that pleasure. Because it's in the denying of the pleasure is where the shoe drops on us. Because it's those secret desires that we really truly want. It's those secret desires that come back and bite us. So until we integrate the good and the bad side of those desires and bring it neutral, and we're able to express it properly, I don't even want to say properly. Properly is not the word, because it makes it seem like there's a good part. When we're able to integrate the good and the bad, or what we deem as good or bad, when we integrate it and we're able to express it from a place of truth, that's when it's power. And you're just like so true to yourself. I had a client send me a testimonial the other day. I'm actually going to pull it up for just a second, just like read it, because it was really, I really loved what she said. I really loved what she said about this. She says, you're truly inspiration, and you're true to your core truth. And and it was like, because I'm able to show up in my truth. When you're able to show up in your truth, you're able to like really express yourself in a very powerful way. So then after that, she says, working with you, I have a healthier relationship with my mom that I never thought was possible. And I felt like a big weight has been lifted off of my shoulders. Now I'm able to focus on my core beliefs. So I'm able to stand in my truth, and my true gifts. And I'm now able to show up in my business like no other, and a leader in the world like I was born to be. It was because with her, we really dove deep into those desires. If we really want to experience life on such a deeper level and have healthier relationships with others and ourselves, it really is about integrating those desires, right? Which again, it's the little things. The little things lead up to the big things. And so I'm going to end it like this. So any of you here that are just experiencing any kind of pleasure or whatever, and you're not having that foreplay, it's not even worth it. Don't even. It's not worth your time. It's not worth your energy. Freaking save it and harness it to something that's worth your time, right? Because I'll let you know, in any area of my life, if I'm not enjoying the journey, then I'm not going to enjoy that destination. I know that the destination is only going to be short. It's going to be short lived, right? So when it does come to a point where the other day, here's something funny again. Like, this is the bouginess inside of me, but I don't care. I was talking to a friend of mine, and again, like I said, I really love like nice restaurants. I love, 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 love nice restaurants. And my friend was like, "Oh, well, where do you like to go?" And I was like, "Oh, well, in Arizona, where I'm currently at right now, like nothing." I was like, "Did we miss the process?" "Nope, we're still in the first part. You didn't miss a thing." I said, I was like, I love like to go to like a really nice steakhouse. Like, that's like my favorite thing, is like being in a nice steakhouse. And then I was like, "Oh my gosh, I just realized." I was like, I gotta go to like a nice steakhouse again, and I don't have to pay for it. And it's not about paying for it, but it's like, it's nice just being like admired and feeling like a woman. And I was like, oh my God, but I'm also never going to be in a relationship again where I have to pay for a damn thing. I was like, oh my God, from this moment forward, I just get to be a woman, and I just get to receive. And either if I'm just out with somebody, I get to receive, or when I get into that relationship, I just get to receive. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. So whatever I have to do to attract that into my life, like, yeah, that's a pleasurable experience. I'm like, really, this, like, being by myself right now sounds really cool, because now I don't have to freaking pay for it. This is freaking amazing. I was like, oh my God, we have to go to the steakhouse, right? It was like, that's like, I was playing with that. Now some people, oh my God, how can you? That's what I find pleasurable. I love having those conversations. I love being able to go to a steakhouse and meeting amazing people, uh, and being complimented on not only my physical beauty, but the beauty that comes from within me, because those are truly the compliments that I get most of, right? And being able, like, people just automatically giving me things just because of me showing up as who I am. I'm like, oh my gosh, I get to experience that now, because for the last like 5 years, I've been paying for freaking everything and kind of been disconnected. Right. So I was like, oh, this is really super cool. I get to tap into that pleasure that I haven't had for a while. Right. And being able to like truly like sit in there and imagine it and enjoy it. I was like, this is freaking awesome. Right. Whatever that desire is for you, it's not bad. It's good. So imagine it, connect to it, feel it. If you want to be one of those women who just like, who are like me, who like just love to just show up and sit at the bar, and somebody just like, oh, you're just amazing. Uh, Bartender, put her stuff on my tab. Okay, I'll receive that. I love that. That's the bad bitch inside of me. It's one of my personalities. I love that. I've got many personalities, but that is one of my favorite personalities, right? The pleasure aspect is about all of that. What is it that you desire? And how can you exude that and express that out into the world? I'm like, ah, and there's a lot of areas in my life where I'm like, oh my God, I get to connect into myself again. Pleasure transmutes to power. Okay. So connect to that. I want you to start thinking of other areas of your life where outside of sex, that you should have a list. It should be like a long ass list. Like fill up a page of everything that feels. This whole notebook should just be like nothing but freaking pleasure. Things that bring you pleasure. Bath and Body Works brings me pleasure. Candles bring me pleasure. Scents bring me pleasure. Love perfume brings me pleasure. Lotion, really good lotion brings me pleasure. I love the feeling. Like I love that. I love it when people are like, "Man, you got such soft skin." Yeah, because I have an obsession with lotion. It brings me pleasure. I love it. Right? What brings you pleasure? Feel it. Where you're just like, oh my God, I feel so much freaking pleasure. And you just cannot wait to just like share it with the world. And if you're not feeling it like this, you're not there yet. So play with that. Play with that. What brings you pleasure? It transmutes to your power. The next piece of this is passion. How in the world are you able to experience passion or pleasure without passion? Passion transmutes to pleasure. I'm going to ask the question again to you right now. What are you passionate about? Just put something in the chat box. What brings you pleasure or not pleasure? What are you passionate about? What is your passion? What are you passionate about? I remember there was a time, this was years and years ago when this was almost 10 years ago when I started on my path to personal growth and spiritual growth. When I started on this path, I was like, somebody had asked, I was in this course and they were like, what are you passionate about? And I was sitting there and I was like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm passionate about. And then this guy was like really talking about passion. And I was like, well, what if you don't know what you're passionate about? Like, how do you find out what you're passionate about? And he was trying to explain it to me, but it was like a foreign language, right? It was like a foreign language to me. Like he was like really trying to work with me. He was doing like these different like tests with me, things like that. And I was just like, I just could not connect to my passion. I had no clue, right? In the chat box, we've got dancing and public speaking and education, right? What are you passionate about? For me, now, if you like, I know the people who are watching this right now, you can tell now I am a very passionate person. I don't know how to live life without passion. Anybody who gets to meet me is like, man, you've got so much passion. I don't know how to live life without passion. I do not know how to live life without passion. I am just like passionate about anything. But the beautiful thing about passion is once you start to learn what you're passionate about, um, it just really flows. And so we'll talk about this first. Passion makes you magnetic. So I don't care if you've got your own business. I don't care if you are working for someone. If you do not exhibit passion, you're kind of like repelling. You're like a repellent. And I really want to make something very clear. There's a very big difference between excitement and passion. Because sometimes people come off like, oh my God, really excited. And it's like, oh my God, I'm really excited. But it's not magnetism. The excitement of things, excitement isn't like a real, it's not real. It's not truth, right? Excitement is like a buildup of serotonin, but it's not like, and you can use that buildup of serotonin to launch your passion. But like sustained excitement, it becomes a repellent. It's like spraying bug repellent. Like people aren't going to want to be around you all the time because it's like, oh God, this is just too much. But passion is constantly drawing people in like a magnet, and they want it. It's like the most decadent dessert. Passion is like the most decadent dessert. Like for me, if I were to think of like a decadent dessert that I love more than anything, I would say like creme brulee, like a really good creme brulee. I love that. I can eat it all the time, right? Like so passionate about it. And it's funny because like when I do describe like anything, people are like, damn, like you just like are like just, but that's just how I am, right? Connect to what you're passionate about. Connect to what you're passionate about. It makes you magnetic. It makes you more influential. Whatever it is that you're passionate about, it's just going to come off naturally. People are going to want what people are going to want what you got naturally. You don't even have to sell yourself. It's like you just show up and it's like, whatever it is that you got, I can feel it and I just want it. Like like right now I'm in like um I was on a call the other day with a bunch of very powerful people, and they're like, geez, it's like, okay, I see how this is where we're going with you. It's like all you got to do is just show up because selling you is like easy. I was like, of course selling me is easy because I'm so freaking passionate about everything you do. It's not a sell. This is just who I am. I love it. I love having these conversations. I love teaching. I love speaking. I just love being myself. I love it because I used to live my life like not being myself at all. Now that I am myself, I just love being myself. This is just who I am. So he's like, "Yep, we already got it. We just sell you. That's it." And then I just find deeper ways to get into myself. So it's like really cool. Like over the next like several months, you guys are gonna see like me showing up in like in such a different way, and I'm so excited about it. It's kind of scary. I'm like, oh dang, it's a little kind of like nerve wracking, but I'm like, no, but this is who I am. I'm excited to like surprise people because passion makes you magnetic. And then when you're magnetic, passion is fire. It creates results, it creates movement, it creates action. Because when you're passionate about it, you just can't help but share it with others. You just can't help but share it with others. So then you start to see results in your life. It's movement. It launches you forward. It's like I'm not living for the bottom line. I'm not living my life out of worry, out of scarcity, out of fear. I'm living for truth and life and love and everything. And so it's like you're seeing like massive results, massive movement, massive action. I don't even know like this last week, I don't even know how many like amazing people have come into my life, and I'm just like on the phone and like I'm like holding back tears, and I'm just like, how did this person get into my life right now? I'm like, I don't even know. And I'm like, it doesn't even matter. But it's because my passion for where I'm going is attracting so many amazing people. And because of that, the people that I need in my life, it's creating massive results. It's creating movement. For me, it's action. I'm like, I don't care. I called this person into my life who he is like, all right, just a branding genius. And he's like, all right, I'm going to help you over the next year with branding. We're going to do this and this and this and this and this. It's going to take a commitment on your level, but this is what we're doing. And I'm like, let's do it. He's like, look, he's like, when I started my brand, it was 1996, and I still have nightmares over that process. I'm telling you, it's not going to be easy. And I'm like, I don't care. This is my passion. This is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing in the world. And I don't give a shit how difficult it's going to be. He's like, you're going to have to do a lot of traveling. We're going to be putting you in front of a lot of like really big people. You're going to have to just say yes to a lot of things. You're going to have to be in such a place of trust. I'm like, look, I don't care. I'm so passionate about what I'm doing. It doesn't matter. I don't care how big the challenge is. I don't care how big the mountains are. I am always going to say yes. How many of you would love to experience that kind of passion in your life, in your business, and what you do every single day? Hell yes, right? Type hell yes if you would like to experience that kind of passion. If you already are experiencing that kind of passion, hell yes, tell me. I love it. I just love it. And if I am not experiencing that kind of deep passion in my life, then that's where I know I'm on a path of course correction. If there's some area in my life that I'm like, this just doesn't really feel like really super passionate to me, then I know that it's course correction. I know it's not right. That's my indication of knowing that I'm not on the right path. And when I say right path, I'm not saying like I'm on a wrong path. I just know it's time for course correction or for me to listen. If I'm not feeling deep passion, if I'm just like, ugh, if I'm just not like, if I am not like, whoo, then I'm like, no, because I'm not the type of person to be kind of like, just like in this tiny little box. For me, it's got to be huge. If it's not huge for me, it's like, all right, course correction, right? And then the next piece. This is important. Money follows passion. So that's why I'm saying if I'm in kind of like a place of like, I'm just not really passionate about this. Even if it's something that I don't enjoy doing, right? I'm working on something right now that I'm telling you I really don't enjoy doing, but the idea of what this is going to bring to me, I'm really passionate about it. So I'm like, all right, I'm doing it. And I'm like, oh, why am I doing this? And then I connect to why I'm doing this. I'm like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm committed to it. Even if like whatever it is, I'm connecting to it still. But I know where I'm going. It's the long-term results, right? Money follows passion. So when you're very passionate about something, the money follows it. So that's why you can experience, you don't have to worry about getting up. I've got to go to work. I've got to do this task and this task and this. You don't have to worry about that. Worry about the passion. Everything else will follow. You don't have to worry about mundane things like money. You're asking yourself the wrong question if that's where you're focused. If your focus is on money and not the passion, that's why the money flow is restricted. That's why you're not living abundantly. It's because you're not focused on the passion, you're focused on the money. It's not the bottom line that you're focused on, it's the passion. It's where it's the energy. If you're not in your body, money, you're not going to ever feel the energy of money in your body. It's a freaking piece of paper. But passion, you are, right? A good example of this is like, okay, like, all right, I want to go to Hawaii. Oh my God, I imagine doing this and this and this and this. Oh my God, I'm so passionate about this and this and this and this. I really like, this is my goal. What's going to happen? Opportunities are going to come that are going to give you the resources to take you to where you want to go because you're connected to the passion. But if you're like, oh, I want to go to Hawaii, but how am I going to make money to go to Hawaii? I don't. So I've got to do this. I have to make more money. I really need to save up money for a vacation. You're so in such a place of yuck. You're not going to get there. You're not connected to the passion. And then therefore, 5 years later, oh, I've always had this dream to go to Hawaii, but I can't afford it. We all have that. Who's experienced that? Raise your hand. Well, that's why. Because you're focused on the wrong damn thing. If you're not focused on your passion, you're not going to get there. Money follows passion. So your focus is on the passion. Your focus is on the objective. The next piece is, oh, that one we did. The third piece to this is pain transmutes to passion. Pain transmutes to passion, right? The pain is what, like, really, I'm going to go here. You really cannot connect to passion without pain. And the deeper you go into your own pain process, the stronger the passion becomes. Because what happens is the pain actually grounds you. It's through, like, I often teach, your irritations are the key to your liberation. The things that really, the things that really anger us, and the only way we can figure out what our anger is through pain. And when I say pain, it could be childhood traumas. Like, it's just anything that we just deem painful. It's like, man, that was brutal, but you learned something from it. And the deeper you go, the stronger the passion. It grounds you. And without it, and we all know somebody, believe me, I definitely know somebody who's not grounded in this at all, just constantly running from the pain. And then wanting to live in, like, passion land, but is not grounded in any pain. Just, I'm going to run from the pain. Oh my God, you will not create. There's no focus. There's no nothing. You're just freaking, and then people are like, oh God, get away from me. Jeez, what the hell is this? It's just too much. The pain grounds you, and it's what connects you to others, which is what brings you through the process of passion and pleasure. It's what connects you to it all. So the deeper you go into the pain and you can connect to it, the deeper the passion. And it unlocks more passion. So it makes you an even bigger presence in the world. This is one thing that I really, 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 really want to stress. When we create, this goes into another series, so I'm not going to go too deep into this because we're running out of time. Every time we go through mastery, pain is a mastery, passion is a mastery, pleasure is a mastery. Every time we go through one of these steps and we master each one of these steps, we create a persona. And these personas are big. So the bigger the persona, the bigger the energy we create in the world. So the more we attract. So the deeper we dive into our pain, the more we attract. Not pain, but pleasure. So then, if we dive really deep into the pain and allow ourselves to see every single broken piece of ourselves, the bigger we are of a presence in the world, the more people we connect to. And if we're connecting to more people in the world, how big are our paychecks? Big. Oprah didn't become big because she doesn't share herself. She shares herself completely. The more we dive deep, the more abundantly we live. I love to share this. I always say, the law of attraction states the more we give, the more we receive. But it's not just that. It's the more we give of ourselves, the more we will receive. The more we give of ourselves, the more we will receive. And we can only do that if we dive into the pain piece. So the deeper you go, the stronger the passion. The next piece to that is these things called timestamps. How do we do that? How do we recognize where we're playing small, where we're not diving deep enough into the pain? I call these timestamps. These timestamps are like potholes in the brain. Anytime like something happens to us in our existence that have created some kind of painful memory, some kind of a painful experience, it's like a pothole is like carved out in our brain. In psychology, it's called gray matter. You can see it. Lit up if you do a scan in the brain, right? We've got these areas of gray matter in our brain. It keeps us tripped up. It's like driving a car through a muddy pothole, right? You drive your car, and then all of a sudden you're like in a ditch, and then you start to put more power and momentum to it, and all you're doing is digging yourself deeper into this hole, and all this, your car is just muddy, and you're like, oh my God, how the hell am I going to get out of this ditch? That's what timestamps are. That's what it looks like when we don't clear up the pain. Timestamps, doing this timestamp therapy helps to identify these loops, these potholes, and then it seals the pothole over so now you could drive smoothly. And then there you go, no more shoe dropping. But the experience of it, you remember, but there's no more charge in your life. And so the experience of it helps you connect to other people. It transmutes into a passion. And therefore, now you're able to identify the alters or personas around it. And the desire, it turns into pleasure and transmutes into power. That's how it works. It's freaking amazing. But if we live a life avoiding pain, nope, you'll never get there. You'll never get there. The avoidance of pain will be a block to extreme pleasure. Then therefore we're wondering why we're not living abundantly. Well, that's why. Plain and simple. So going through these different timestamps and breaking those cyclical loops is how we actually break the cycle of the shoe dropping. No more shoe dropping. So imagine removing these potholes and covering them up in your life where you're in a place where it's like you're just riding on a smooth road. Imagine that. Imagine somebody handing you the keys to a Ferrari with premium gas, and you're just like there's no traffic in the road, and you're just like, if any of you have driven on the Pacific Coast Highway, you're just like just watching the beach, you're just like, this is beautiful. That's what it's like when you remove the timestamps, because there's no rocks, there's no potholes, there's no mountains, there's no nothing. It's just being able to enjoy the scenery of your life. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about, oh my God, is this partner that I'm with right now, is he going to turn into a psycho? Is he a narcissist? Is he this? Is he that? You don't have to worry about that. Oh my God, if I get this money, do I have to hoard onto it because something might happen and I might lose my money? Will my business partner steal all my money like they did last time? Do I have to hoard onto it? Do I have to hide it away somewhere? No, you don't have to worry about any of that no more. Because the charge is gone, you remove the charge. But if you're going to run from the pain, well, the shoe will always drop. You won't get there. Pain is the gateway to greatness. Pain is a great gateway to greatness. If you want to live your full potential, you want a fully integrated and prosperous life, pain is the gateway to greatness. Now, it doesn't mean you have to suffer. The avoidance of pain is suffering. And again, I'm going to use the analogy of creation, of sexual energy. Like as a woman, right? You have passion with a partner, you experience, not in all cases, but pleasure. You get pregnant, you have a baby. Is that process painful? Sure the hell is. But you just created. Through that pain, it was the ultimate creation, was the ultimate greatness, was the ultimate gift, life, breath. But you can't get there without pain. And some of you, oh, well, I can get an epidural. Well, whatever. but you're still just numbing. That's just numbing the pain. Pain is the gateway to greatness. And the epidural isn't going to heal your body and the pain that comes after childbirth, right? You still have to experience it. There's no avoidance of it. It's going to blow up in your face no matter what. So you can either deal with it now or you can deal with it later. Whatever you choose it. But you're running from it. All it's going to do is magnify and become bigger. And that's why the more we avoid pain, the bigger the bigger the storm comes when we avoid it. So the 3 steps to experiencing the path to pleasure is pain, passion, and pleasure. And you move up through there. And this right here, when you think about it, it's like a triangle, right? You flip it upside down. That's what our power center looks like. Then once it's activated, you step into power. That's the exact same shape as our groin area and our womb is a triangle. Once we unlock that, it opens up our power. And that's the gateway to our full potential. Doing this work is so powerful. I had a client that I worked with. We did some of this work on her. And like in a week, literally in a week, like she was in such a place in her life where she was just, she was just in such a low place in her life. We did this work with her. She ended up getting a book deal within 10 days. I'm not even joking. She got 10 days. She got a book deal. She got a where she was writing a training module for a training program for a leadership program. She got a speaking gig. Somebody was saying they're from Morocco. It was actually in Morocco. It was a big thing that she got the speaking gig in Morocco. And then she got this job working for entrepreneurs where they're basically paying for her to travel around the world and teach entrepreneurship and leadership. Boom. Going through this process, it doesn't need to be an arduous process. It doesn't need to be egregious. It doesn't need to suffer. It can be quick. It's like a light bulb. It's just the awareness of going through the process. It's avoidance of the process that creates suffering, that creates these relationships in our lives that it's like no matter what I do, it doesn't matter. It's not ever good enough. Going through this process is what opens up opportunities. It's really amazing, right? It's how you're able to get like really deep and massive results in your life. For me as well. I've gone through the process. I go through. I don't ever preach and teach what I have not personally gone through. And because of that, it's like so many opportunities open up. But there is a process, and there's no way out of this process. And I know in our world, like there's all this talk about mindset, and this mindset is only going to take you so far. Mindset will never take you to your full potential. There's always going to be a point where you must go deeper. This process is that deeper. This process opens up big opportunities for you. This process is what differentiates you from everybody else. I don't know about you, but there just came a time in my life where I was just sick and tired of like blending in with everybody else. Now I make it but that used to be my goal, is how can you blend in with society? Now I'm going to do anything and everything I can to not blend in. I'm going to make sure nobody has the same hair as me. I'm going to make sure nobody's wearing the same clothes as me. I'm going to make sure that I stand out as much as possible because I'm too big to blend in with this world. This world thinks too small. Society thinks too small. The container of what this world tries to put you in, these boxes, they're constricting. You can't live in a box anymore. Like, good God, like, don't even try and put me in a box. The last time I spoke on stage, it was like they had this podium. I was like, good God, no, I ain't stepping on no podium. I'm too big for a fucking podium. It's time to differentiate yourself from the world. And if you want to do that, this is the process that you go through. It's amazing. If you know that you were born for something so much bigger in this world, hell yes, I want to hear a hell yes. If you know that you were not just born to be like everybody else, put in the chat box, hell yes, I was born for something big. I was born for greatness. Actually, you know what? Not hell yes. I want you to write in the comments, I'm a big deal. If I were to write it in there, I'm actually going to write it in. I'm going to actually write it in there myself. I'm a big fucking deal. Because I am. I'm a big deal. I know I am. I wasn't born to just be here to fit in, to play small. And I know those of you who have been like, who are watching this, I know that you're not either, or else you wouldn't have sat here and listened to me for the last hour, because this message isn't going to resonate for people who are just like, I'm just here. I'm going to have this, perfect relationship. I'm going to just eat. Everything's going to just happen to me. There's not a process. I don't have to see myself. I don't have to do any work. I don't have to, no, like this isn't going to resonate with that. But if you do want to actually experience like thriving, feeling alive, and having a life where you've got great health, great relationships, you're working passionately, like whatever work that you do, whether it's in your own business or whether it's with a company that you work with, if you really are at a place where it's like, your whole life is just in harmony, integrated, well, naturally your life will be big. Like, it's impossible for it not to. It's impossible for it not to, because it's a symptom of it. Having amazing energy, having great passion, being able to just like walk down the street, like, like right after I'm done with this, it's like it's gonna be dinner time, right? Going out and people just call, who is this person? Who is this person? What, it's like, yeah, this is me. I'm a big deal. I'm a big fucking deal, and I'm gonna own it. No matter where I go or what I do, I'm gonna own it. And I'm going to enjoy my meal that I have for dinner tonight. I'm going to enjoy it with pleasure. I'm going to enjoy the conversations that I have with absolutely deep passion and pleasure. So today, I really hope that everything that I shared with you today, like, really resonated. And for those of you who are ready to feel alive, who are ready to thrive, and are wanting to understand we all have these loops. They affect us in all areas of our life. In Kabbalah, they call it your life's biggest challenge. We all have them. There are these like cycles that basically, if you think about a relay race and track, it's like it's a cycle that it's like it creates a lot of doubt in your life, and then you're like, oh, I finally feel like I'm at the finish line, and then the other one kicks in. It's like, no, my turn, and then it reinforces what you were feeling up here, and then it knocks you back, so you're playing this sick game of ping pong. If any of you are ready to identify what that loop is in your life, I'm offering a free consultation to identify that for you and see where in your life we can get you to feel alive and thrive so you can start to experience deep pleasure in your life. Get you out of a place where you're no longer playing that sick game of ping pong. Maybe some of you ping pong is your passion, but you know what? If you're playing this freaking game forever and ever and ever and ever, it's going to get pretty old. But maybe you're like, no, Mandy, really, I really love playing ping pong. Well, why don't we take that game of ping pong and instead of it being a sick game of ping pong, let's go take that scenery to the Maldives or Fuji or something like that where you're playing on the beach, actually making money out of it, turning it into a passion rather than it just eating your life away and taking away from the passion and the pleasure that you should be feeling in life. If you really want to start identifying what that deep pleasure is in your life, going through that process so you can show up in the world in such a big way. If you're ready to see your relationships grow and thrive and connect, if you're ready to put an end to having shitty relationships, if you're ready to put an end to that win and then thinking, if you're ready to put an end to your business struggling, if you're ready to put an end to lack of energy, poor health, if you're ready to put an end to having just boring meaningless uh, sex without passion and intimacy, and if you want to start feeling connected to not only to yourself but to others and your contribution to the world in a much deeper level, I'm going to put my calendar schedule in the comment section and I invite you to schedule something. Let's identify what that challenge is for you. Get you out of that loop. We all have them. We're all here on this planet to learn something very deeply, and we're all here to contribute to something very deeply, and they're tied together. And those things that tie together are what create the shadow loop. So identifying what that shadow loop is going to identify those two key gifts in your life. And I'm going to, for the people who are watching this with me today, I'm offering you that session for free. So I'm going to, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and feel free to post any questions in the group. I'm so excited that I was able to be here with you today. I'm going to be doing this, like I said, every Tuesday. And if this just becomes something that I just feel super passionate about, maybe we might do it a little bit more often. But right now, I'm planning on doing this every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Those who are ready to just say, I can't live like this for another minute and really are wanting to go deeper, I'm here. If you're wanting to go deeper into this work, if you're ready to start thriving, look, nobody ever got there. I was got to nobody successful has ever gotten there on their own. It was funny. I wonder if I can find the quote. I was talking to some of you may know Dave Metzler. He is a very successful he's a very successful businessman and speaker, author. And it was funny, he was telling his story about how he lost everything. And he's it's well, how'd you lose everything? He's like, well, because I thought I knew everything. It's I literally lost everything. I lost hundreds of millions of dollars almost overnight. And his answer to how he lost it was because I thought I knew everything. And now he's worth he lost millions, and now he's worth over hundreds of millions of dollars. And it's well, how'd you gain it back? He says, because I realized I don't know shit. And I started asking for help. And then he put an end to the fallacy of your network is or your net worth is relation to your net worth, your network. He said that's not true. He said it's the people that you haven't been connected with yet. It's growing. It's growing and connecting with the people who are going to help you grow. And the only shortcut in life is mentorship. The only shortcut in life is going deeper into the work. And I just really love that because there's stages of personal development, which we'll talk about this in another broadcast. But when you finally get to a place where you don't know and you're like, I just am ready to grow, I'm ready to thrive. And when you get to a place where I don't know and not knowing, that's where you thrive. Because every single thing that you know got you to where you're at today. What you know right now will not get you the results you want tomorrow. Because everything that you know got you to where you're at right now. That's how it works. So if you're at a place to make a declaration to say, I'm done putting an end to all the suffering in my life, and I'm ready to advance and grow further in my life, I invite you to get on a call. I invite you to share, write a comment, give us a review, and continue to show up on these calls. It's time to grow. It's time to thrive, especially in such a world of uncertainty. The world is waiting for us all to show up. So let's show up together. My name is Mandolyn Moses. I'm so excited to be sharing my business with you, Alter Ego, and a part of my business that I'm super, super passionate about, this Pleasure Academy, talking about pleasure, talking about unlocking our power centers, becoming the most powerful. Like for me, I always say I'm the most powerful woman in the world, but so are you. The more I unlock my power, the more I can bring it out in you. Thank you all so much. I honor you for supporting me. I honor you for showing up. I honor you for being here and watching this with me. I'm just so excited. This is my passion and this is my pleasure. And so I'm excited to be here with you today. And yeah, I look forward to speaking with many of you on the phone. And I look forward to seeing you all again on another live stream next week. Till next time.